By this, among the following rods made of the same material, the one that conduct more heat in a given time and the ends are maintained at the same temperature difference. So by this wording, you can say that the delta T is remaining constant. The delta T value remains constant. Okay, right, right. So that's what for all the rods. Okay, for all the rods. So for all the rods, this is how the delta T value remains constant, right? So you know this anyway. Got it? This is the same temperature difference that is maintained. So I'll give you the options right now. So what are the options? We'll see. So the option A is that L is equal to 1 meter and R is 1 centimeter. They are all cylindrical rods, okay? Option B, L is equal to 2 meter and R is equal to 2 centimeter. And C, option C is that L is 3 meter, L is 3 meter, R is 1 centimeter. And the option D, L is 100 centimeter and R is 2 centimeter. So remember which option you have to take is whichever the rod is having the shortest length and larger diameter or larger cross-sectional area. Now in all the cases you see the length is in meters. Every case this is 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter and you have 100 meter. This is the short rod. This is the short rod. Shorter rod. It is 100 centimeter. It's not 100 meters. That is shorter rod. 1 meter is 1000 centimeters. This is 2000 centimeters and this is 3000 centimeters. Okay, I'll write once again so that you will understand. This is 3000 centimeters. This is 2000 centimeter. Okay, and this is 1000. Sorry, 100 centimeters. Sorry, what I'm writing. This is 2000 mm. I should say mm. Okay, this is mm. We'll write 3000 mm. Okay, this is 1000 mm millimeters and this is 100 centimeters. So this is 1000 mm. Okay, 1000 mm. So okay, we have 1000 mm here, here 1000, here 1000. Okay, we have to compare these two. And now out of these two, you have this is 1 centimeter radius and this is 2 centimeter radius. Out of these two, these are the shorter rods. These two are the shorter rods. A and D, you have the shorter rods. A comma D or shorter rods. Okay, they are shorter rods compared to any other options. First of all, you have to see like this. They are the shorter rods compared to any other option. Now look at the case where you have the larger cross-section area. Here R is 1 centimeter, R is equal to 2 centimeters. R equal to 2 centimeters, you get larger cross-sectional area. So obviously the answer is D.
D.
Yeah, very good. Answer is D. That's how we'll go. You need not solve this problem. You had to look in and then we'll solve. Now the next part is the junction temperature. We'll see. Hope I am clear with this one.
Sir,
Yes.
I
Yes.
can't understand this
Okay.
sentence,
Okay.
sir.
I will tell you.
This-
Rods are maintained at the same temperature difference. Means I'll tell you now. You have 4 rods given, Amma. Okay. This is a rod 1, rod 2. Okay. Rod 3. Okay, rod 4. Okay, 4 rods are given to you. Now this is the X, this is also X end, this is also X end, this is also X end. All these 4 ends are kept at one temperature T1. Let us say T high temperature. Okay, means that these ends are heated. Hello, am I clear? all these four ends are kept at high temperature, first part. And now all these four ends are kept at another temperature T2, that is T low. So that means the delta T, if you calculate, this is T high minus T low is same for all four rods. This they have given us. That is the meaning of the sentence. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, clear. So that's what they told. That is the delta T refers to all the four rods. The extents are kept at high temperature, same high temperature. Let us say all the extents are at 500. For example, I am telling all the y ends, all the colder ends are at, let us say, 0 degrees centigrade. Like this, all the four ends are at 0 degrees centigrade. All the hot ends are at 500 degrees centigrade. So the delta T for all the rods is same. That's what the meaning of this. Now, when the delta T is same, you got to look for the shorter rod with larger cross-sectional area. Larger cross-section area. If you look for that, you will find that the option D is the right answer. Look for the shorter rod with larger cross-section area. Cross-section area, how to calculate here? A is pi r square. Here cylindrical rods are given. Whichever r is more, r is large, A is large. Okay. So that's the idea. Based on this idea, we have solved this particular problem. Is this clear?
Sir, by using formula also we can solve.
Yeah,
sir.
you can use the formula. Without using formula, you can do.
That
You can use.
D.
Very good. You can do like this. dq by dt you can do like
is
K,
directly proportional to A by L.
A by L, directly proportional to A by L. You can use that. A by
A
L
by
you can.
L.
So you can take the ratio and check. That also you can do. But this is a longer process. You will
Yes,
not have
sir.
that much of time. This is a longer process. You can, if they ask you the ratio of the rate of transfer of heat, then you can use that. They didn't ask you the ratio yet.
Okay, sir.
So you can calculate if you wish. You
So-
can calculate the ratio. Yes.
So simply we can remember that shorter length and larger area, sir.
Shorter the length, larger the area. Just you look in. Job
Okay,
done.
sir.
So that's how
Okay,
you have to understand the shortcuts. Okay. The next one is like proper calculation is like you have to find the A by L, and in each case you have to take the ratio. You have to take the ratio of the each case. Now, based upon the ratio, you have to tell which is conducting faster. The higher the factor, ratio factor, the faster it will be conducting.
Yes,
So it will
sir.
be like
R
this.
square by L.
Yeah, you will get R square by L. Exactly.
Yes.
So anyway, you will end up with the same. Finally, answer wise, it's the same. But the shortcut is you look for the shorter rod with larger cross-section area, job done. You don't have to go for the calculation.
0.04.
Yeah, you need not calculate. That's it. I don't want you to waste time in calculation here.
Okay, sir.
So you understand the concept of this is a very straight question that you have to understand the concept of the shorter length and larger cross-section area. So if you understand that, then job done. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Next one will be like it's a the junction temperatures calculation steady state. I'll tell you. Junction temperature calculation steady state. Steady state. What is the steady state? Steady state means the rate of heat transfer is same throughout. So it says that the rate of heat transfer heat transfer is same throughout the material combination whatever. Okay, I'll tell you, it's the same thing. So I was telling about that first point, that so at each section of the material it stays the same. So it's like what it tells, like when you connect a rod of the material one. Okay, this is material one. Okay, I will say this rod one. Rod one is made of copper, assume, and the rod two is made of steel or iron. Okay, this is copper. The copper rod and an iron rod, they are joined, welded. Okay, weld joint. Okay, weld joint. So the situation is that they'll tell you that they have taken two rods. One is a copper rod and an iron rod. They have given a weld joint, and this weld joint is called junction. It's a junction of iron and copper. I am telling an example. The rods of two different materials, let us say iron and copper. We have created a weld joint. Like these two rods we have taken, and then we have welded these two rods, right? And after welding, you will end up with something called a junction, right? And once you get this junction, I want to calculate the junction temperature, Tj, or junction temperature, you can say. Sometimes we call it as T naught. Okay, Tj or T naught. Okay, this is called junction temperature. Junction temperature. So under what condition we will say junction temperature? Suppose this copper rod is heated at this end. Copper rod is heated at this end. And the iron end is the colder. This is the colder end. Because the rods are different, the thermal conductivity of copper is different from the thermal conductivity of iron. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
So once this happens, you have the scenario that it says that the steady state says that throughout the system, these two are joined, these two rods are joined. Throughout the system, the heat transfer, the rate of heat transfer remains the same. Remains same. That's most important. The rate of heat transfer remains the same. That is called steady state approximation. Okay, this is one thing. Suppose the another thing situation is that, can I clear this? Can I clear this, sir? Everyone? You want to make a note?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll clear. So there is another thing. Suppose you have three rods. Okay, like this. It's a Y kind of shape. This is also possible. So you have three rods which are connected like this. Three rods. Rod 1, rod 2, rod 3. Suppose you can have three rods also connected, and then they can form a junction. This is a Y junction. This is called a Y junction. Y junction kind of. Y junction. So at the Y junction, what is the temperature? What is the junction temperature? Junction temperature. So how do you do this junction temperature questions? So it's the same, more or less, it's the same as what you do in the calorimetry. Remember that point? So what we have done in the calorimetry, we have done for the adiabatic system, we have done the delta Q1 plus delta Q2 is equal to 0, or heat lost is equal to heat gained. Okay, this is a kind of same thing we have to do. Only thing is we divide with the time. Divide these things with time. That's all you have to do. So what is delta Q by delta T, time interval? It's nothing but So this is called a time when you get when they are when you divide this thing with time, you get this the heat transported, right? So rate of heat transport, rate of heat transported from hot end to the cold end, and from hot end to the cold end. That's how it goes. And now, if in the case of three things, what we'll write? It's like delta Q1 plus delta Q2 plus delta Q3 is equal to 0. That's for the calorimetry. So when you divide with the time, entire thing when you divide with the time, what you are going to get is like, I will call this as H1 plus H2 plus H3 is equal to 0. This is how we set up the equations for the Y junctions type. Okay. Heat loss by heat gain. I'll tell you when we solve the problem, you will certainly understand how to solve this. So please make a note of this one. So this is the basic ideas on which we'll work in. So please note it. So we'll set up the equations, how to calculate the TJ, I will tell you. So we'll have a small kind of derivation now. This is about this more or less the last topic of our thermal conductivity of matter. Then we'll come back to our work energy power. Can I clear this? Noted?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes.
good. Now, let's consider the situation. What is how to calculate the junction temperatures? Okay. Now, the thing is that we have two rods. The rod one of length LA, assume that rod A is of length LA, L small a, we'll call it as the rod A, rod small a, and the rod small b is connected like this. Okay, rod B is connected like this, and now the area of length of rod A is LA, area of cross section of rod A is, we take it as A. Now we are going to, our job is to calculate junction temperature. This is what we are going to calculate, junction temperature. Junction temperature, we'll call it as TJ, junction temperature. Okay, TJ is the junction temperature, means junction is what? Rod A and rod B, they are welded together at certain point. Okay, this is LB. And now area cross section, length, thermal conductivity of rod A is, let us say this is Ka. Okay, now these are the three things what we need. Now here at this end we have heated the rod. This we have heated. So this is hot. Okay, this is the hot end. And now the hot end, we assume that this is T, and the junction temperature is T0, Tj, let us say, and the cold end is at T0. Okay, this is clear. So hot end temperature, this is the hot end temperature, hot end. This is the cold end temperature, cold end. Okay. So similarly, we can write for the rod B, length of rod B is, let us say, LB. Okay. Now, area of cross section of rod B, we'll call it as capital B. Okay. Now, thermal conductivity of rod B is, we call it as KB. Now, are these three things clear for you? These three
Yes,
things
sir.
are clear, and now we just have to set up the equation. Now it's very simple. Only thing is you have to set up the equation. Now, can I clear this? Everyone noted?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. And now, based on this, I'll rub this so that we need this above figure. So everything we calculate with respect to the junction temperature. Okay, we had to evaluate the junction temperature. Everything we calculate with respect to the junction temperature. So by the steady state approximation, what we tell is that the heat transport in the rod A is equal to heat transport in the rod B. So it's like heat rate of heat transfer in rod A is equal to rate of heat transfer in rod B. This is how we write it. Now, rate of heat transfer is, we call it dq by dt, dqa, assume this is dqb divided by dt. Now, clear? This part is done. Now, you tell me what happened to the rod A. This is, with respect to rod A, this is the hot end, and the junction temperature at this point, the junction is the cold end with respect to the rod A. Okay, got it? And now the rate of heat transport for the rod A is given by Ka, that is thermal conductivity of rod A, into the area of cross section. I said it is A. The temperature difference is T minus Tj. T minus Tj, right? Divided by LA. This is for the rod A. Now the rod B is KB, right? That is thermal conductivity of rod B, into area of cross section of the B is B. Now with respect to the rod B, this is my hot end. The junction itself is the hot end for the rod B. So it's like Tj minus T naught. T naught is the colder end for the rod B, whole divided by LB. Now solving this, that's it. Solving this is the funda. Solving this, we find junction temperature. If you solve this equation, we will find the junction temperature. How to solve is the problems. This is how you set up the equation. Rest of the things are okay. This is how you set up the equation first. Ka into A into T minus Tj. That is for, this is situation for the two rods. So how to do for the three rods, that I will tell you later. The bijunction, it is little bit different, but more or less it's the same. Don't worry about that. Bijunction will do later. Once finished, please write me.
Yes, sir.
So this is called junction temperature. I'll tell you this junction temperature calculation. One question is for sure. One question is for sure. Junction temperature, one question is for sure. Okay, clear? You had to practice junction temperature questions as many as you can. Please practice. One question is coming for sure in your medical exam. You have to solve this. I'll tell you the type of question now. what are the type of question which is going to come. Now, in a steady state heat conduction, in a steady state heat conduction, in a steady state heat conduction, the temperature of the ends A and B, of the ends A and B of the rod 100 centimeter, okay, long, 100 centimeter long, or 0 and 100 degrees centigrade, 0 degrees and 100 degrees centigrade, okay. The temperature of the rod at a distance of 60 centimeters from end A is, there is a question. Option A is 0 degrees centigrade. Option B is 40 degrees centigrade. Option C is 60 degrees centigrade. Option D is 100 degrees centigrade. So these are the options what we have. Please note that question. We'll solve it. So here we have the rod. So let me draw this in a different color. So this is the rod we have. So what did they tell? That heat condition, the temperature at the ends A and B of the rod at 100 centimeter long. This is total rod is 100 centimeter. Total rod is about 100 centimeter long. Okay, fine. Are at 0 and 100. Okay. That is the temperature at the end A is, let us call it as end A and this end B. So the end A is at 0 degrees centigrade. So this is 0 degrees centigrade. The end B is at 100 degrees centigrade. Okay. Clear? Is this clear? The B is at the hot end and A is colder end. This is how the temperature flow. The heat flows this way from B to A, right? So from A onwards, they said, so here this length, they are given one point at this point. This is 60 centimeters from end A. That means this length is like 40 centimeters. Okay. 40 centimeters from the end B. So this point, let us choose it as some X, let us say. At the point X, what is the temperature we have to find? So let's assume the temperature at this point is T. Now, based on the earlier thing that the rod is the same, so the cross-sectional area is same. So we'll write that the thermal conductivity is also same. Ka into delta T. What is delta T here between A and this one? T minus 0. T minus 0. The length of the rod is up to here. It is 60 centimeters. So we put 60 here. Now this is Ka. These two factors are not changing. Into what is this difference? That is 100 minus T. For these 2 points, it is 100 minus T. For these 2 points, that is T minus 0. So it's 100 minus T whole divided by this length is about 40. So that's it. Ka factor is down because it's the same rod. The thermal conductivity and area of cross section is same. So you have this one gets cancelled out. So you have 4T is equal to 600 minus 6T. So you have this one, that is 10T is equal to 600, T is equal to 60 degrees centigrade. 60 degrees centigrade. And that at this point, the temperature is 60 degrees centigrade. This is how they'll ask you the questions. This is one mode of asking the question. Okay, please note. So once finished, please let me know.
Finish, sir.
Okay, good. Now we have another question.
Sir,
Yes.
sir,
Yes.
the rod we consider is uniform, sir.
Uniform. Yes. Yes. Of course. Of course.
The rate of heat transfer is also uniform only,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. Of course. Of course. That is steady state.
Yes,
That is
sir.
what is steady state.
When we take it in 30 centimeters, that time also T is equal to 60 degrees Celsius, sir.
No. No. 30 centimeter you take, you get 30 degrees centigrade.
But the rate of heat transfer across the rod will be uniform.
Yes. Yes. Of course. Of course. Rate of heat transfer is uniform. It's not temperature uniform. Rate of heat transfer is uniform, boss. But the temperature is not uniform. Temperature cannot be uniform throughout the rod. Practically, you think.
Yes, sir.
You can think practically. See, you put a rod inside a furnace, you can hold the colder end, right?
Yes, sir.
Why? If the other end temperature is 500, this temperature is also 500. How it is possible to hold? Impossible. But it says that the heat is transported from one end to another end. That's it. It doesn't mean that both the ends will gain the same temperature. Heat is transported. That's it. So after a long time, the entire rod will reach the 500.
Yes, sir.
So it's like a steady state is a situation where both ends will be maintained at two different temperatures. Heat will be transporting continuously. That's what we are talking about. Means it also says that, see, that you keep the end B at 100 degrees centigrade, okay, in boiling water. You always keep the end A at 0 degrees centigrade in ice continuously. If the ice is melted, ice will become melting. Ice will be melting because there will be heat transfer from that end to this end. So you put ice, more and more ice, and maintain the same temperature. That is called steady state. You have to maintain the same temperature. You can't change the temperature. Externally, you have to maintain the temperature. That's what it says. Hope I am clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now the next one. Yeah, almost we have. There is some factor called thermal conductance. Thermal conductance is given by Ka by L. So you have dq by dt, right? Dq by dt is equal to Ka by L into delta T, that is there, right? In that you remove the factor delta T, this factor, this Ka by L factor is called thermal conductance. Okay. The next one, the next one, L by Ka. L by Ka, that is called thermal resistance. Thermal resistance. L by Ka is called thermal resistance, and thermal conductance is Ka by L. So note these points. Almost we are done with this chapter. The next one, we have some. Most we are done. Most we are done. Okay, we have one problem, one more problem. Once finished, please let me know. We'll go ahead with the next problem.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The thermal conductivity of a material. The thermal conductivity of a material in CGS system is 0.4. In steady state, the rate of flow of heat, rate of flow of heat is 10 calorie second inverse centimeter power minus 2. Okay. The thermal gradient is what is thermal gradient? Delta T by L. That is called thermal gradient. Delta T by L factor is there, no? That is called thermal gradient. Okay. So we had to calculate. So what are the things given? They have given, this is what in steady state the rate of flow of heat is delta Q by delta T, or delta Q by T, that is 10 calorie second inverse centimeter power minus 2. This is what they have given, and the value of K they have given as 0.4. Okay. So here what we have to calculate is delta T by L. Is what we have to calculate. So we know that delta Q by delta T is equal to Ka into delta T divided by L. So what they asked us is delta T divided by L is what they asked. That is L by K. Sorry, that is delta Q divided by delta T into 1 by Ka. This is what they ask. This is what we have, and now we had to simply substitute the values. So you have that so thermal conductivity, so let's plug in delta Q. This is 10 calorie second inverse centimeter square, centimeter power minus 2, divided by the K value is 0.4. And is there anything missing? So it's about what did I do? So 10 by 0.4. So here what A is, yeah, A is 1 unit. I forgot to give, this is A is 1 unit. Okay, 1 centimeter square. Okay, that's the area of cross section. I forgot to give this. conductivity of material in this AGS system. So 1 centimeter square is the area. So you can plug in 1 here, 1 centimeter square. That's the area which is given. I forgot to give this value for you. So delta T by L you can calculate 10 by 0.4. So that happens to be, you have 10 by 0.4, that is about 25 degrees centigrade per centimeter. That's the idea. So that is delta T by L. Delta T by L is 25 degrees centigrade per centimeter. For each centimeter, you will get 25 degrees centigrade difference. 1 centimeter you move on the rod, you get a 25 degrees centigrade difference. So that's how the calculation goes. So this is how we do. Okay. This is what else we have. There are certain different level questions are there. Okay, when it comes up, I wish to do these things. Some more is needed. Some more ideas are needed about moment of inertia and those things. But what I ask you is, up to here, up to this point, you have some ideas. I wish I will come back to this chapter. Okay, I will come back to this chapter once again. Don't worry about that. So we will. I wish that I will give a break at this point, because this is a enormous chapter. What I do is I'll give a small break for this, and I will move into work power energy, and again I will come back into this chapter, so that, but this model questions are, I think I have given at least about 20 questions at least I would have given with the different concepts. So I want you to practice this 20 questions. These are very, very important. First, practice this 20 questions. Especially, I have done this in the view of the repeaters students. So practice this first, initially 20 questions, and then definitely there will be like 2 questions which are going to come for you in the examination. That's what I feel. So I want to take this one initially, a little bit push on this one, and later I will come back into this topic once again. We need some concepts of that, coupling the moment of inertia, the mechanical properties of solids, something called thermal stress. All these things will come into the picture later half. So the initial half of the things are covered in this chapter. So please practice up to this thing. So those things which are containing the thermal stress and the other problems connected to moment of inertia, how does the moment of inertia will vary, that kind of questions you need not worry at present. Please start calculating the questions which are connected to this particular thing, which is junction temperatures and the other stuff. Okay. Okay, is this clear? First part, first half I covered, and I will come back to this once again because it's a very important chapter. So I hope you are all having some idea about this. And now I'll come back to this chapter once again. I will come back when it comes up. So now I will move on to work, energy, power. So to start with, we start with the concept work, energy, power. So we start with work, energy, power, a new chapter. Again, we have done lot of problems on Newton's laws of motion. Hopefully you are fine with it. And now we talk about some 3 concepts: work, energy, power. So this constitutes about, I think it will be constituting about mostly the lecture times for this will be like at least 6 hours of lectures are needed. So 6 hours of lecture, 6 to maybe 6 hours, yeah, 6 to 7 hours lectures. So that will take you to different sorts of problems approach in the work, energy, power. And this is also an important concept. So you can expect the questions from work energy power. What are different kind of questions on equilibrium sort of things you can expect. And I came to know from Madam that somebody was looking for the important chapters. What I didn't have time to send, but I can tell you one thing is it's like 50% will come from the first year and 50% will come from the second year. Think like that. Okay, 50% will be from the first year, 50% will be from second year. And another twist in the tail is that you may have 60% from the first year rather than second year. That is there. The first year concepts have, I feel like they are having more weightage than the concepts which are in second year. In the second year, you had to look for a specific type of problems and then you had to solve. But here that also I'll tell you that how good and how specific you are and how smart you are in your work code depends. So that I will, when I meet, I wish to discuss that separately, what you had to do, how the plan of preparation. But now the thing is, what I wish to tell is you follow the things what I am telling and then go through that. I am covering only the important things, most important things. I'm not covering all the blah 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 stuff what is there on your textbooks and all, and which you can do, where you can score the marks easily. So that is the one I am concentrating for you all. Okay, I hope I'm clear. And then when we meet, I will tell you. I don't remember who is the student asked for the important question, important chapters. Uh, for the first thing I wish to tell about that one is uh, looking for the most important, go for the optics, because I have not covered the optics for you all, but for the repeated students I'm telling optics, go to optics and start solving optics. All the questions in optics, at least some 200 to 300 questions you have to solve minimum on the optics. First of all, to get at least some 2 questions you will get thermal properties of matter and thermodynamics. You get about 6 to 7 questions from that itself. And next one is the rotational motion. These are the major important concepts, and next comes the work energy and Newton's laws of motion. Like that things will go. Okay, to start with, unless you know these concepts, you cannot be solving the other level problems. Okay, so to start with, we have work. So what is work? So how do we define work? Work is a scalar. Work is said to be done. You can say this one, said to be done when a force causes displacement. That's it, we can write displacement in the direction of force. In the direction of force. This is how direction of force. This is how normal definitions will come. It's a scalar dot product of, you can say it's a scalar dot product of force and displacement. It's a scalar dot product of force and displacement. That's what the work is. You can say work is said to be done when it's a scalar dot, when you apply some force and then it causes certain displacement. You had to apply the force and there had to be some displacement. Then you can say work is said to be done. And what is a scalar? It's a scalar. Work is a scalar quantity. Okay, scalar quantity. Work is a scalar quantity. Clear? This is the first initial definitions of work. Okay. Now, mathematically, how do we write that work is F bar dot S bar, or one can say mod F bar mod S bar cos theta, right? So what is this theta? Theta is the angle between the force vector and the displacement vector. Force vector and displacement vector. Displacement vector. Okay. Is this clear? Up to 9th, what you have read is that it's simply the product of force and displacement, force and distance. It's like when you're applying the force and displacement, they are at an angle 0. There is a situations you have seen. So we'll see a different scenario, different situations over here today. So hopefully you have written this. What is mod F bar? That is the magnitude of the force, magnitude of displacement times cos theta. So how does this come? So let us say there is an object here on a smooth surface. So let us say you apply a force like this. This is my force vector, and the displacement is caused in this direction. S vector is like this, displacement vector is this way, and they are at an angle theta. Then you can say the work done is Fs cos theta. Okay, clear? Is this how? I hope I'm clear. What is F? That is mod F bar, will write it as F, and mod S bar will write it as yes. That is my Fs cos theta. Clear? That's my Fs cos theta. Hope I am clear. And now the other way of writing this one. And the other way of writing this one is the now actually speaking, the work is the force is the product of the force in the direction of displacement and displacement. These are the several definitions of work, right? Work is the product of force in the direction of displacement. So what is the force in direction of displacement? What is the component of F bar along S bar? That is F cos theta. Okay? F cos theta is the component of force. So you can make a triangle like this and then find cos theta. That's how you get F cos theta. Hopefully you got to know the resolving into components, and this one is my F sin theta, right? And this one is my F cos theta. This is how we resolve into components. So F cos theta times here, as usual, the work can be written as F cos theta times yes. So this is the another way of writing this. Okay, it's a component of the force along the direction of displacement. So it's the product of the force in the direction of the displacement and the displacement itself. So that's how one can write. What are the units of work? It is like force into displacement, that is Newton meter. The Newton meter is joule. So next is you have the dimension formula, ml t power minus 2 multiplied by L. So that is ml square t power minus 2. So that's the dimension formula of work, joules. Okay, dimension formula is ml square t power minus 2. That's the dimension formula. Am I clear? Once clear, please let me know.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next one. Now, please note that work done by different forces will be different. It's not same. A different force, suppose, what is this funda I tell you? Suppose there is an object like this. The force, let us say it is acting like this and it causes a displacement S. If you ask me what are the forces on this object, let us say mass of the object is m and the gravity is downwards, mg, and your normal reaction is upwards like this, and the frictional force is this way, backwards. Okay, Fk will write kinetic friction. So these things are different. So the work done by F applied is not equal to the work done by the normal reaction. They are not equal to work done by the gravity. They may be equal, they may not be equal in general. In general, the work done by gravity and the work done by the kinetic friction, they're all different. So different forces will have different work done. Work done is calculated with respect to work done is calculated with respect to the force, the force we have applied. Or taken into consideration. So in fact, we have applied or taken into consideration. Okay. You can take, the work done is calculated based on the force or we have applied or we have which force we have taken into consideration. Based on that, we will calculate the work done. Work done by different forces will be different. It will not be the same. Okay, that's most important thing what we have to see now. So let's solve one or two questions. So you will have some idea about how to calculate the work done. Can I clear?
Yes, sir.
The next one is that work done may be positive or negative. Work done may be positive or negative. You can have a negative work, you can have a positive work. That means we can have a negative work or positive work. Possible. We can have a negative work or a positive work. So for suppose we will solve a problem now, then we will understand what is the negative work and the positive work. Now we'll solve a problem. Suppose there is an object like this of mass m. There is a force which is applied like this. F is applied like this of 50 newtons. It is being applied on this object. 50 newtons is applied on this object. And the coefficient of friction, what they have given is 0.1. This is the coefficient of friction they have given us. The question is that find the work done by external force, and frictional force on mass 10 kg, on mass 10 kg, when displaced by 5 meters, when displaced by 5 meters. So we have to solve this problem. This is straightforward actually. 15 newtons, 5-meter displacement. The first one is F S cos theta. And now the displacement 5 meters is happening in the direction of the applied force. So directly the theta value is 0 degrees here. Both are 0 degrees here. Both are in the same direction. So you can directly apply, that is 50 newtons into the 5-meter displacement. So 50 into 5, that is 250 joules. So that's the work done by the applied force. Please understand, this is work done by the applied force. And now if I consider the frictional force, so to calculate frictional force, I need to calculate the normal reaction. So here the mg, it is downwards, that is 100 newtons, that is downwards. I take g as 10, meters second power minus 2. And again the weight of the object, that is nothing but the Fg, the gravitational force, that is 100 newtons. So 10 into 10, that's how you get 100 newtons downwards. And the normal reaction is about, again, 100 newtons. And now the kinetic friction, the Fk will be acting opposite direction. How to calculate? Mu times n. That's how we calculate. Mu is 0.1 times n is 100. So that is about 10 newtons. But 10 Newton force is acting backwards and the displacement is forward. So work done by friction, it does the backwards, and then the angle in the second case is 180 degrees because the friction and the displacement both are in opposite direction. So the angle is 180. So the friction you can calculate, that is friction, how much we calculated, that is 10 newtons. 10 newtons times the displacement is 5 meters and cos 180 degrees. Cos 180 is minus 1. So you get negative 50 joules. So this is how we calculate. See, the work done by the friction is different from the work done by applied force. Got it?
Yes, sir.
You got to specify the kind of force for which you need to calculate work done. Work done by different forces is different. So this is the basic idea what we have. So we solve one more problem and close this session today. Small problem we'll solve. So the basic fundamental idea problem. Can I clear this? Everyone got it? How to handle? How to handle this question? Everyone got it? Oh, you got it. Now we'll go for the next one. So the force vector will give F is 2i cap plus 3j cap plus 7k cap, and the displacement vector is like minus 3j cap plus 5k cap. Now calculate work done. Calculate work done. So how do we do that? Work done is the dot product of force and displacement, that is F bar dot S bar. How do we do that? 2i cap plus 3j cap plus 7k cap dot minus 3j cap plus 5k cap. So how do we do that? Dot product, I with I. There is no I here, so that part is 0. So we can write 0i cap here. So 2 into 0, I with I, j with j, that is 3 into minus 3. Okay. K with k, that is 7 into 5. 7 into 5. So this is how we solve. That is, this part is 0 minus 9 plus 35. Okay, 35 minus 9. How much, ma? Everyone? 26 joules, right?
Yes, sir.
This is how to calculate. Can you give a try? One more question of this kind. You have to clear with the very basic questions of this kind.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
Okay, good. Now the next one. Another question will solve. The force vector will give 5a cap minus 7j cap plus 6k cap, and the displacement vector is 3i cap minus 5j cap minus 2k cap. Right? Find W. You have to be familiar with this one. So can anyone tell me the answer quickly? What's the work done? We'll give the formula F bar dot S bar. So how do we do that? 5i cap minus 7j cap plus 6k cap dot 3i cap minus 5j cap minus 2k cap. So can anyone tell me the answer?
38 joules, sir.
Sorry, ma?
38 joules.
38 joules, sir.
38 joules.
38
Okay,
joules,
good,
sir.
good. So we have 15 plus 35 minus 12. Right. So it is 38 joules. Very good. Now at this point, hope I can close this session today. So we'll meet next week. So that time we will have further discussion on work energy power. Okay. Yeah. Thank you all. I hope it's time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Bye.